for supper. Oh, I need an egg. Oops. All right. We're supposed to be looking at what's in the cupboard. Oh, I need an egg. I need a piece of garlic. Oh, shit. That just went flying. Oh, let's use a little bit of carrot. Or do I have some? This is old potato water. That's going to be used for washing my hair when I wash it next. Anything else that I need in there? Oh, did you put your onion? Then I have the fish already boiled. I kind of boiled it, and then this is boiled potatoes, so I'll just mash that down, and then I'll put the egg, some flavor in. Let's get some. Hold on. Everything's messy. Don't judge me. What else? What else? I'm gonna need some flour. I'm going to put some seasoning salt. A little bit of this, though I want to be careful not to put too much of that. This carrot, shred that in. Use my hand here. So I have a little bit of red pepper. I can cut in. What else? What else? Oh. Messy, messy, messy. I know. Some of this, which is paprika. And I'm going to put a wee bit of steak spice. And it's like they're right there. A little bit of lemon pepper. So I have to be careful with these things because a lot of them are salty already. Like this is salt, garlic salt, seasoning salt. This is lemon pepper seasoning, which I'm sure has salt. The steak spice has salt. This is the only thing that doesn't have salt. So I have to really watch. And then, oopsie, I'm out of lemon. I was going to put some lemon, but it's so fat, so that's what happened. So. Okay, we got this in the picture. Yeah. Wrong way. We do want to get me in the picture. I need to put it up. Regarde. Qu'est-ce que je veux faire? What is she doing? I don't know. She doesn't know herself. How about like that? Was I awake? No, not really. Almost there. I know. I should get all this stuff beforehand, but because I'm moving around with it. Oh boy. You know, you go trying to think you're smart. I don't care. I'm not furging around with that because I'm too hungry. Now let me see what is going on. It's finally warm in here. I'm so cold in here earlier. Let me have a piece of bubble gum while we're waiting. Oh, this one's done. I'm not going to open that package yet, but we do have some gum here. I should finish. Ow, my back. Bouncing around doesn't work. Don't get old and get injured. What is that? Piece of the potatoes. No. To get this potty a little faster, we're just going to use this machine and grind it up. I'm just going to take this outer. Where am I? Wow. Pourquoi? I can't get it together, man. What can I use? Let's see if this works. You need to up high enough to see me and what she's trying to do. But it's good. It is not looking small alive. Watch this go flying. Didn't go flying. I am dazed and confused, y'all. Okay. We got me in the picture finally. Whoa. I'm going to stop talking and just start doing. So, I've got 2 large potatoes, and to that I'm going to only put this very large garlic. we're gonna put a couple of the potatoes in here. Now, with that many potatoes, I'm going to use probably only about an equivalent of 1 tablespoon per potato of onion. I'm just going to take these edges off, the outer layer, and throw it in the pot. So that will come to an equivalent of about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Then let's get some carrot. I am going to use a fair amount of carrot just because I like carrot. And just because we're saying that it's a tilapia fish cake, it can still be a vegetarian fish cake too. Because you want to get your fruits and vegetables in daily. So as you saw, the potatoes were boiled. I boiled them, if I can call it that way, al dente. I did not overboil them. And then I'm going to be putting this raw carrot in when I fry them in a little bit of oil. And that will make it extra healthy and tasty for you. And being a spaz, I do have another knife I could use. I'm just being lazy because this one's dirty already. Oh, I can move again. The house was so cold. Well, there was an issue. There is, not was, there is an issue in the house. So, there's a little bit of something on there. I'm a little bit anal, so I need to take that off. Cut this up just a tiny bit, just to help it along. Because of my adding these big harder pieces of carrot, so I'll just cut the carrot up into it a bit, again helping it along. So I'm making it not too small slices, but they're not too thin. Some are different sizes. And then, ow, this hurts because of the serration of the knife. Ugh. Okay, got that? Then, we're going to put our egg in. The egg is going to help kind of emulsify it and just get it moving around more freely. I'm a little bit, again, anal. I have to take the squiggly out. Who else, if they see the squiggly, they have to take it out? Ew! So, again, you're going to be careful with the spices. I'm only going to use I think I'm using about a 1/4 teaspoon of each. Because again, whoa, you can spice it up later. So putting the seasoning salt brings out a nice flavor, and then adding this, a little bit of something with lemon, because you are using the fish. This is some steak spice that goes on everything. I love it on everything. And then a little bit of paprika. Just a little will do ya. So, finally, we're just, oh, I forgot. I also wanted to put some more color in this. I'm going to add some red pepper. Again, you're going to just cut it up a little bit, just so that it helps it get around the mixture and nicely distributed. I'm going to cut from both sides of this, just so that it's kind of making me feel better that the next time I go for this vegetable, it's not starting to go off on the edges, because the peppers have a way of doing things like that. So I'll just cut that older piece off and use it, and we will cover it back up along with the onion. And it's okay if they touch each other, they can be friends. Put that back in the fridge. But first, what I'm going to do, again, I have this fish sitting here. I am going to take a tiny bit of pepper, some black pepper. Again, you're going to flavor it to taste, because it's something you later will put additional salt and pepper at the end, very little bit, but when first cooking it, you do have to have a certain amount. So, this is just for this. Once I get the potatoes in, I will be adding a little bit of regular Himalayan salt. But yeah, again, you're doing it in layers, and it just makes it nicer. So, close your ears. I am going to get this grinder going. It's a very handy tool to have if I could work it. Okay, close your ears. That's well. Woo! That piece of garlic was very flavorful. Yum, yum, yum. And when you I find that you add the garlic salt along with the garlic, the fresh garlic, that's how it brings out the flavor of the garlic so much nicer. Seems like when you're making garlic bread, you cannot have one without the other. And when you're making your garlic butter, you don't want the butter to be melted, you just want it to be very, very well softened. Now, as we proceed, there is some juice in this bag because I did cook the fish in the bag. I don't need this in the mixture at the moment, but I am going to reserve that tiny bit of juice just in case, because that has yummy flavor in it. So we don't want to lose that flavor. I need. This is what I'm going to use. That's what I need. And I see that the vegetables, as you can see here, it's quite liquidy and wet. You do not want it wet like that. So I am going to add another egg. Because I apparently did not do it a service by adding it to the blending portion. So again, if you're anal like me, you're going to take that squiggly part out because it's just so gross. Hello. Welcome. Next. So, this has been soaking in water. Not a good thing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get as much water off as I can. But I'm going to turn this element on. The element, just for a quick spat of heating the potatoes so that they dry up, because I do not want this mixture wet. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rinse my tools, try and semi-clean up as I go. Some of the stuff, if it doesn't have oil or... I know, I'm lazy. Don't judge me! So, I got this burner on. Cooking live. Yes, somebody gave me the idea. Asked me when am I going live. I do feel I'm a good cook and can give you some good tips. So, yes sirree, do feel free to cook live with me. Oh, thank you very much then, K Petty. But I can't read and do this at the same time. Let me try and stay focused here. So we added an egg. We're going to have the consistency of there about that. Now, another reason why the egg will start to thin or act different if you mix it around in the salt too much, that's what will change its texture or consistency. So if I have to add one more egg, that'll be okay, but for now, I don't want to mix it any more than I have, but I do want to get these potatoes going. So we got the piece of fish. This is tilapia we're using today. You can use salmon, you can use shrimp, which I just thought of. Let me make sure this smells good. Let's clean up a bit as we go. Whoopsie. So what I'll be doing is grating the potatoes in. And I did cook them, and I kind of hope I tried to make them that they're not soft. I didn't boil the crap out of them so that they would be a mashed potato. I actually cooked them very, very, very slightly undercooked. So that reasoning is because we're going to be frying it, it'll get cooked again and continue spreading its love and happiness. Sorry that I'm not responding. While cooking, you message, how can you track friend? I'm going to track you later when I read the comments, dear. So, she decided to add that fish stock because there was only a tiny spot of it there anyway. Any good cook needs a beverage, so we'll get a beverage going soon. Just getting dust off from the onions, because sometimes onions seem to have some type of smart. Oh, I couldn't read it. Sorry, my friend. Anyway, let's put the potatoes. We're gonna do. What I did is I went ahead and boiled the potatoes without peeling the skin because we don't want to waste the nutrients. So when you boil it, all the nutrients will boil back into the potato, which is a good thing. No, you cut the skin off later. You're cutting off less potato as well, so less wastage. Ow! It's a tiny bit hot because I had to get the moisture off. Oh, her back's already bothering me. Owie, owie, owie. My table, where I would have a spot where I normally would have sat down to do things like this. Oh, I thought that was going to fall. I would normally sit down to do this, but standing up sure tires me. And so sometimes I have to almost take a sit down, a break, just to get a moment off my back to relieve the spine. Last one. Again, it's not quite it's not overly cooked at all. It's not quite fully cooked. That way when you fry it, it's not going to be mush. I don't like it. I don't want to mush potato cake, fish cake. Now I could get fancy and want to mix some shrimp in here, but I didn't think about it. And the shrimp are frozen, so I'm not going to take the time to unthaw those. But I will take the time get some vegetables going. It was so cold here the last few days, yesterday. I couldn't even wash the dishes. Only somebody with a bad back would understand. Ow. I wonder if we should have some nice, I'm thinking since I want to put some other type of fish with this. I think that we should have some mussels on the side. So some fish cakes with some mussels and then some California raisins. I'm joking. Some nice mix of vegetables. Get that going. These I'm just going to let them sit in the water because I don't really need the temperature, the heat to go right now. I am going to grate these potatoes into here like I said. I'm just going to lightly mix this again. Just the perfect consistency. You don't want it too wet. So if I have to add another egg, I may have to, but you definitely don't want it watery. The egg is there to bind it. So that's where your flour is going to come in. When I see how wet this is, only once I see how wet it is, I'll add a little bit of flour, and then I'm going to, once I make the patties, dredge the patties in the flour in the end. So we don't want to put too much flour and then in here. So let me get started with that. As I said, I'm going to grate these potatoes in. Ow! Don't cut your fingers. If there's a little bit of every now and then tiny little bigger pieces, That's okay. It's not gonna kill you. We're not in perfection at school. Everything is irie. So this is what is considered, would be considered, I think they call this, what do they call this? Dang it. It was almost at the ends of my tongue. But this is the perfect way to make when you're making gnocchi. Oh, that's what I was going to say, a fluffy potato. As opposed to trying to break the potato with a fork. If I try and break this down with a fork, it's going to change the consistency of it. So this is why you have to and you must grate it when you're making your fish cakes. Hi, Sorby. Somebody was saying something. I'm sorry I missed it. So again, that's why you need the potato to be a very slightly firm. It can't be too soft like you would have it when you're cooking mashed potatoes. So that's why, as you learn to cook, you realize there's different types of potatoes who will do different things as well. These were some red potatoes. They're pretty multi-purpose in my opinion. I don't know, I didn't take cooking school, but just from what I've done when cooking, they're pretty versatile. You can put them in tin foil and bake them. You can put them in soup, stews, ragouts, whatever. As opposed to the harder, thicker skin potatoes, those are especially best for baking with, in my opinion, like stuffing them. And I don't really buy them often though. I don't really like those ones. They're different, they disintegrate you a little bit different. So I'm gonna just keep doing this, be quiet a moment. I'm tiring myself out listening to myself. Bubble tea, hi, how are you? It's in the house. Gordon Ramsay would be proud. I don't know. I would have a heart attack if I had him around. I would not be able to handle the stress. And I wouldn't be able to handle being yelled at. That would get on my nerves real quick. Bubble tea, hello my friend. Thank you for joining my live. We're learning how to cook, how I cook the potato cakes and feel that it's a good way. So I'd like to share it with you. You can pass around some bubble tea for us. What kind of bubble tea did you bring me? Again, thank you. Yum, 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 yum. Kay Perry, thank you so much again for your suggestion to go live cooking. I don't cook big fancy meals anymore because I just get too tired. Uh-oh. Let's watch I don't make a mess. A little piece of potato just fell between the damn stove. Ixnay on that, eh? Ouch! This hurts my back. So, who else likes fish cakes? There we go. Get the other side. All the goodness. See there, now this is when, once I put this meat in here, I would want to put a tiny bit of, you would want to add a little bit of lemon. Just a spot, not too much at all, but it does make a little difference. Because lemon, you have to put that on at the end. So let's mix this up very gingerly. You're not going to mix it aggressively. Or I meant you're not going to mix it to squish it together. You're just trying to almost fold it in, if that makes sense. La 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 la. La 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 la. And there you have it. So that's good enough, because now you want to add your fish. Again, you don't want to, I don't want to mush it up. I want chunks of fish. I want to taste the fish. I want the flavor. So I'm just going to flake it off without totally mushing it, like I said. And that's again here where I would have put some lime on it. Like that. Now, like any good cook, hello, hello, welcome, welcome, everyone, connect, intermingle, socialize. We're at a social, we're gonna have something to eat soon. Now, what I do want to do, like any good cook, is get a drink. What should we have with this? We're gonna have some sake wine. We're gonna be fancy. Guys, this kind of sake wine is something that you warm up. The instruction on the back say so. On my back. Again, we would put a little bit of lime in here. Since we don't have any lime, I am going to put just a spot of some lemon seasoning on here. Just to say hello to each other like you guys can. And let that sit a moment. I am going to add a tiny bit of the flour. Thank you so much. Alcohol time. Just a little bit. We're not going to drink the whole thing. So, I'm gathering we've got about 5 cups. To 5 cups, you are going to need a decent amount of flour. So I am going to add 1/2 a cup at a time. Oops. I think I'm going to add a 1/4 cup to each cup. That's going to be plenty. But it's getting way hot here. Let me turn this thermostat's finally working. The guy came here. OMG, guys. Somebody had to come and take care of me. Not physically either. But he did fix the heating for me. That is kind of pretty much outdoors. It's the sunroom. And it's not heated. I covered the vent. So, again, you're going to add this gradually. Could a whole lot less, so you definitely don't want to error by putting too much. Now, it's something that gets warmed up. I'm gonna go ghetto and warm it in. This glass in the microwave. I don't have a warmer. I don't know if they've invented it yet. I don't know. I'm gonna warm it 30 seconds at a time. Ow, my back. What can I eat while I'm having this, guys? Ow, my back, god dang it. Sometimes my back pinches. And that's again why I can't stand or motion a certain way. Cheers! Let's get rid of this gum because this I don't think tastes good with that flavor. Now, again, when you're mixing up your flour to your potato ratio, you're pretty much semi-folding it in. You're not mixing it aggressively. You're not doing all that stuff. You're just sort of folding it in, letting it get used to each other, and you're allowing the flour to soak into the moisture without, again, changing the consistency, because otherwise if you mash it, it just changes the texture and you don't want that. So right now it's still fairly wet. It's a tiny bit still too wet. You want it almost a firm consistency, baby, to work it. You have to be able to touch it. So we're going to go ahead and add. As I said, you're gradually adding things. Lesser is better. When you're adding flour or spices, you can add a little bit later if you need to, especially when it comes to salt. But now, when we're adding this flour, dump that in all over as you can. And again, get it all over, sort of fold it in. It is still hot in here. I shut the door already. Oh my gosh, I can smell. So you're just going to go around gently, folding it in, mixing it up gently, just so that you can allow the moisture, like I said, to get with the moisture is mixing in with the powder without, again, breaking it too much. So here, we're almost there. This is still a little wet because I can't work with it yet. So, my hands are getting dirty. I don't like that feeling. Ah, say show, yo. And I don't even have the oven on at the moment. Let me take this sweater off and just open this a tad bit. All right. Now, flour, like I said, it was going to probably come to about 1/4 cup per a quarter cup of this to a cup of your mixture, especially if it's wet. She grated the side of her hand earlier. I grated it with my hand with a grater. Yes, I did, but I didn't grate my hand, no. My hand is perfectly intact. It is not grated. So again, you're just gonna lightly mix that in, incorporating it. Here we go. Still needs more, so again, there's still room for more. That will be it though. You do not want to go overboard with the flour. I'm not trying to make potato dumplings. I'm going to go ahead, add that in. I still didn't get a sip of my drink. What are you having? The bubble tea was very good. Thank you, thank you. Yum, yum. Pretend to drink that. Rinda, do you still do glove videos? Well, I just recently, because of Sam Gloves, I've recently been, what is it called? I've been recently toying with different ideas of what and how to do my glove videos. Did you see the last video? I did a pretty good one with bubble gum and the gloves. So here you go. This consistency is almost there. I actually just need a tiny bit more, just a tiny bit. But instead of adding too much flour, I'm just scraping the sides right now, making sure it's all incorporated. I think I'm going to add a tiny bit of cornstarch. The cornstarch will make it bind, and when it cooks, it will thicken it and it will bind it together nicely. So that's what's going to happen. And cheers to that. We're having some sake wine and fish cakes. Yep, I saw that. Oh, you could smell the wine. Sake wine. Oh, the burn. I feel it kind of burning. Bubble tea. Cornstarch is great for thickening so many things. Thickening so many things, but not everything. Whoop whoop. K Petty, bubble tea, you were right. Yes, she is right, or he's right. Let's add a little bit of this. Now, this on the other hand is not something you're going to be adding a cupful. You do not use too much of this. A little bit goes a long way. So, with this, to this amount of mixture, it is a fair amount, I am going to add a whole tablespoon. Yes, I said that because it is going to get nicely mixed in. No, I changed my mind. Because again, lesser is better. Because I put lots of powder already. So enough is enough is enough. I can't put more, no. go. So let's mix this up. See? Somebody asked me the other day, oh, you're drinking a beer out of a shot glass. I don't need a lot of alcohol. Since my head injury, my head is scrambled enough. I don't need alcohol to make it any more wanky than it is. So again, you're gonna fold that in slowly. So it incorporates. There we have it. See how thick it is? See how thick that is? It's not runny. It's not too runny. You want a tiny bit, because again, that'll cook inside, cook on the stove, and it'll thicken it up. So we'll let that sit and get happy. I'm going to wash my hands and wash the pan because I was lazy. Like I said, it was so cold in here. I was not able to function properly the last few days. To come to my understanding that there's actually a gas leak in here, guys. Yep, there is. There's a gas leak. He says it's not bad, but yet goes pushing on it. That kind of is a little bit nerve-wracking. Tell you the truth. Oh, I forgot to put this onions and stuff in. That green pepper, you do not want the green pepper to sit on the counter like that. Cheers! I hope you guys are mingling. Yeah, that's pretty serious, yeah. Gas leak. I know, right? Let me get you the paper. Actually, let me take a moment and go sit down a minute. I don't want to give myself a headache. So, we got this going. It smells so good, like I said. The vegetable, I'm trying to let you see it. The vegetable, the carrot is raw. The onion, the garlic is raw. I put a little bit of green pepper just for the color. Oh, that is going to taste nice. So let's have a seat for a second. Again, I put a smidgen of garlic. Can you see this? Oh, my back. I put a smidgen of garlic salt. About, I would say about a quarter teaspoon to a teaspoon garlic salt, quarter to a teaspoon of seasoning salt. Again, it's your preference if you like salt. I don't. Because all these items have salt, I have to watch out. So quarter teaspoon of lemon pepper seasoning, because that goes so well with any of your fish products. It can even go on steak. I don't know. It depends on you. And then a little bit of paprika. The paprika and salt, if it needs to be salted, we will salt it after I taste one that's cooked. Then I'll sprinkle some salt immediately out of the frying pan. That's when the salt will adhere to it. It'll be so tasty, oh baby. So let me pour myself just a tiny bit more of this. It's actually kind of cold, but I'm gonna have to tough it through. Put this here, put this away. So we're done with this. Like I said, this is just, where are you? This is just gonna get happy, this mixture, while I go have a little bit of a sit down and give my back a break a minute. And put these spices away. Now that you know which ones I used. And I don't know if I put it in my heading, but to that, you'll have to watch it again later. So, we are gonna leave this alone. This pan is gonna dry off. We're gonna have some vegetables with this. Some mixed vegetables. Always make sure you get your variety of vegetables. So this week we're doing long string beans. We're doing yellow bean and green bean. Yum. When they're fresh, when they're frozen, not so good. But whatever. We're gonna go with it. So again, we're gonna let these mussels get to room temperature as well. Those will be having on the side along with these fish cakes. Cause we're walking on sunshine. Hey, hey. Let's turn this light off since we're not in this room. I always shut the light off when I'm not in the room. Oh. I haven't moved around as much all day besides going up and down the stairs. So what happened with the gas? Oh, right. Let me tell you. Let me turn this light on. I know. I have short-term memory. Sorry. Not sorry. Where's the paperwork? Here it is. Direct Energy. They work through ADCO. Let me show you. Hold on, I have to put this thing the other way. Look. Found a 25% LEL leak at 2-inch nipple going into HWH gas valve. Recommend plumber HC for repair and strip back something. I can't see it because there's somebody talking. Strip back piping. That's today, December 7th at 5 p.m. he put. So natural gas odor. Whoopsie. Natural gas odor on the gas water heater. And then he's put it as unsatisfactory. Off for safety, unsatisfactory, or satisfactory. The furnace is satisfactory, and he says the gas water heater is satisfactory, but yet that's where the gas leak is. So how is it satisfactory? Why I'm not a plumber. I didn't even know. I thought it was something to do with the water heater. I thought it had to do with both. I thought it had to do with, because it was so hot in here. I do not understand how all of a sudden, when I called them and complained, it started working better again. But when let me shut this door. I don't want to heat the outside. I'm going to put a tiny bit of oil in I'm going to heat the oil a tiny bit. Turn this light on after all. That isn't good. Gas lines are unsatisfactory. I would keep doors open. Yeah, right? That's what he said. He said when he said people don't normally smell it at this low amount. You must have a really sensitive nose. And I said, well, I am here alone, so the only smell I should be smelling is me, and I don't smell like that smell. And he just looks at me, Anyways, so next thing you knew, he did open the furnace for me, and he did guide me and help me to take away the, how are they called, vents? Something was dirty, so they have to be replaced. Girl, you need to leave that house. Good Lord. Right? If I had a place to stay or go to, yeah, if it was that easy. My money doesn't last long. Though my fridge is full, which is good. Now, what did I do with my drink? Let's have a drink. Finish some drink. Cheers and forget about it. Did I say that? But yeah, there's a gas leak. Oh, let me get that light out of your eyes. There is a small gas leak. So what does he do? He opened the pipe. Opens it and then later does another reading, and the reading was higher. I'm like, could you tighten that some more? Put some kind of tape? I was freaking out. I actually was almost crying, My eyes were burning. Like, that onset of when you start to cry, your eyes start burning? My eyes started burning. I was like, oh no, please. Oh no, what? Like, it was bad enough as it is. I felt a slight headache. It's like, nobody normally smells it. This is old tea. Let me prop this baby up for you. Hold on. Whoa, where are we? Comme ça. I'd be drinking too. No, I'm not drinking because of that. I just enjoy having a drink with my meal. Eric Jordan, hello. My daddy and I love some fish cakes. They're good. Oh, hey. Mine are less fishy, more potato, but we're going to work with it. We could have, what could we have on the side? Oh yeah, we're having mussels. We're going to have some nice mussels on the side. I have to watch how I drink this. This is 12%. Is sake served warm? Yes. Yes, but Pear, thank you for asking. It is normally, this is the type that's served warm, the sake, right? I guess all sake is warm, I guess. But this one is room temperature because I'm too lazy to go through the process of doing the whole bottle. And I'm not sure what the effect is putting it in the microwave. It tastes good. It tastes much different. If you don't warm it, it's not the same. It does not taste good, right? But if you warm it, and you feel that burn, it's not hot burn. It's almost a cleansing. Oh, it tastes so good. I love sake, especially with sushi. But we're not having sushi. We're having the next best thing. But yeah, now that you had to go ruin it on me and remind me it wasn't warm, now it tastes even worse. It does not have a flavor when it's not warmed. Damn, blinded by the light. Said all I could do was making it right. Wow. Gotcha. I told you why I don't drink much. I've barely had how much? And I'm getting a buzz on, which I don't want because I still have to cook. Like I said, it's supposed to be with my meal, but I usually have some just as I'm almost ready to start cooking, but shine, shine on with the Lord Spirit, so yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Just a few sips, I think. Yes, you don't need much. It doesn't go far for me. Because of this concussion, something about drinking, it changes your vascular thing. Like it changes your vessels, your blood vessels or something. And I swear it changes my brain. To the point sometimes I could get sharp pain in my head though. But so is that Japanese cuisine, Chinese, or Korean? The cuisine that I'm making is bastardized Canadian. It's a Canadian. Fish cakes, or could it be European? Maybe it is. I don't know. Where did fish cakes come from? We're gonna have to Google it. My fish cakes are my own. I put lots of vegetables. I use pretty much any vegetables that are around. The predominance is that there's going to be onion, garlic, and a little bit of carrot. I always put that in my fish cakes. And of course, potato. Again, with your potato, you're going to undercook the potato very slightly, boiling it, undercooking it, so that you're able to grate it with a hard, larger size grater. You don't want to fine grate it, but you will grate the potato and then fine grind. You can fine grind the carrot and the onion. The grinding and or the emulsifying of the onion, remember, I know it may sound weird, but the emulsifying of the onion, or I meant not the emulsifying. Emulsifying means like water and oil getting together, making in a colloidal mix. But no, I meant to say you're mixing it together so that, I forget what I was saying. But whatever happens, make sure that you put the ingredients that you like. So if you have, whatever's in your country, the type of vegetables that are predominant in your country, you're going to use that. So again, back to the potatoes. The potato is very important. You want to make sure that the potato is not overcooked. It's going to be undercooked because again, you have to grate the potato for these type of fish cakes to taste the best. And if you overcook the potatoes, the patty is going to be soft and slightly mushy inside. So if that's something you like, then that's something you can do. It's not a problem. Good on you. But if you like a slightly more of a potato cake, like out of lack of words, a McDonald's potato breakfast thing, you want it that consistency. That's the consistency I like my fish cakes. So you're going to want to make sure, again, that you're only grating it. You're not mushing it. Do not squish and mush the potato because that changes the consistency, again, making it too soft and gooey inside. I don't like that consistency on my fish cakes. So that's just a tip for you. This is good information. I think I'm going to try to cook fish cakes this weekend. Sounds good, my friend. Sounds excellent. I look forward to do a upload so we can all go visit your channel and go see. Do you like spaghetti? I do like spaghetti. I love pasta, but acidic things don't like my stomach. But I would like to make a Alfredo soon. I'm going to make a fettuccine Alfredo soon. Oh, I forgot to turn the light off in there. Hold on. But oh my goodness, guys. It's already after 8 o'clock here. So again, when you're mixing in a little bit of egg, to the vegetables that are ground up. If there's too much salt in there, it will change the consistency. So that again is something you don't want to put too much salt when you're making the initial mixture. Only at the time frame that we're at now, you should be adding the salt. Unlike what I did, I added maybe the salt a little early, like different spices I meant. Certain of those spices could have been added later. Rinda, do you like ramen? Oh, I love everything. I love all foods. I like mixing it up. So if you watch a myriad of the different videos you have available to see of mine, you'll see a lot of ramen, different ramens. Some instant noodles, the cheaper types, some are the higher ends. So yeah. That's a good idea. We could have some ramen. I do have a package of some ramen noodles we can have on the side and place our mussels on the side and some fish cakes on a different plate side. Good idea. Oh, you're the man, you the ladies, for always being with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cheers to you. Cheers, cheers. Thank you everyone for liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Make sure you do subscribe and watch one of the videos. Let me know. Say, hey, hi, I'm new here. Hey, I just came to visit. I watched your live of fish cakes. Tell me a little bit, whatever, on this or especially another video. And I will subscribe back. Yeah, I do things like that. I like intermingling and getting to know other people and what you're doing on your channel if you have a channel. You can make an Asian dish easily out of what we're making. Okay, we can call it an Asian dish. Liked and subscribed. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful butt pair. Oh, bye. I love your name. You got a hot name. Ugh. This does not taste good cold. Ooh. Okay, let's shut some of these lights off. In here. Nice. Turn that off for now. Let's bring this potty back into the kitchen. This I'm going to turn down a little bit since we're not in that room. Yes, I'm frugal. She's on a tight budget, yeah. I ordered some KFC the other day. Farge. I ordered some KFC the other day, guys. The French fries were warm. Well, if you know anything about certain French fries, most French fries, you can't stick them in the microwave. It don't work. Fuck. So that was $10. A little box of fries were $10 for the damn fries. Let's put this back on the shelf. Enough of that. We don't want to be drinking too much before the meal is made, but we do want to make sure we drink the drink correctly. So I'm going to put this on 15 seconds to start. I'm going to get this oil. Yes, I have my damn unit on the stove. Am I crazy or am I crazy? Bye-bye. Crazy having my equipment on the stove, but I think I'll be okay. I'm going to run this up 5 more seconds. Now, let's get this heating on. I'm going to put the heating to high to start with to get that nice and warmed up. I wanted to start it warming while I was out taking my break, but I forgot. Because she's that way. Let's rinse a tiny bit of these dishes. I just measured the powder, what did I measure? Flour. Whoa. I'm not going to bother with getting soap because I don't like my stuff saturated in soap. So we're going to get this going, warm it up. This is good. You want it that texture. You don't want it too wet. This is almost a little wet for me, but I'm very slightly afraid of putting too much flour, but I am going to put a tiny bit more. But this time, I'm going to add a little bit of whole wheat, just because I can't handle too much white flour and all that garbage. They usually have a lot of stuff these days that are gluten-free, but I don't even actually like to use those. I prefer just not to use it, period. Or, now that I've got my stuff out of storage, I will sometimes take oats and grind that up and use the oats as a substitute. Another thing you can do is use things like different grains or pulses, beans or things. You can wash that, soak them first. You're going to soak the pulses and then rinse them, and then let them dry. Dry all the way, and then grind it up. And when it's soaking, some of the outer shell will come off, so that you'll take that shell and discard it before grinding the stuff up. So there we go. That's nicely mixed. Again, you don't want to don't grind it up, nothing. Wash your hands. Take a sip of your drink. Now, this temperature, I know it doesn't have a gauge, but the temperature, once the temperature is like it started spitting a tiny bit, so there's a tiny bit of moisture on the pan when I washed it. What you're going to do is once you get it up and it starts doing that, you're going to turn it down to medium high. This is medium high for me. I know how my stove works. Every stove our oven element is going to work differently. So according to your element, mine is higher than what it reads. So this may think it appears that between low and 8, low and high, it looks like it's medium, but it's actually medium high for me. Anyways, so once it gets to bubbling enough, you're gonna, sometimes some people will take chopstick, because after you've washed your chopstick, it should, it might have a little moisture in it. Some people gauge it by their chopstick, so there it goes. Well, I guess this chopstick was dry. Never mind that idea. Put that back. So, we got this going. Now, I was going to make these a little bit thicker, but because they're not as thick, that's fine. Let's just go ahead. We're going to dollop them into the hot frying pan. And you're going to make it, let's have a sip of our drink first. You're going to make sure the pan, move the oil around. Have a sip. Cheers. Oh, Now, I'm going to be making kind of semi-small ones, so you're going to try and keep every one of them pretty much the same size, just for aesthetics. I think that oil is too hot, girl. Again, that's why it was turned down. You're going to have it up high enough to get it to the temperature you want, which is there about 400, 425, depending on how, this is very finely grated, so you won't need it as high. So, no, this should be good. And then if it is too high, you can just turn it down a tiny bit. So you're gonna put the little morsels in there again, to semi the same size, that way as it's cooking, they will all be done at the same time. So I'm just gonna kind of flatten them a tiny bit just to make sure. I'm gonna gauge the oil to use it as my reference. There we go. You're going to give enough space in between. And so now I started here and I'm going around. You're going to remember as you're going around. So you put this one in first. This one is going to be the first one that's going to get flipped over. So you always want to watch things like that. Some people seem to just randomly flip their shite any random way. You don't want to do that. So again, watching the size, kind of trying to keep them all similar size. And no, they don't have to be perfectly shaped. But if you're a little bit anal, like I am, you can try and shape it a tiny bit at the onset of it going in the pan. You don't want to move it after, though. You don't want to start manipulating it too much after. So I'll just put this in here for now. Rinse my little fingers. Now this is a little low. We're going to turn it up a little higher. It actually, somebody was suggesting it was a little high, but it turns out it's not. But you would rather your temperature, when you're frying things, veering safer on it being a little bit lower to start and turning it up is better. You don't want it too high, because once it gets burnt on the outside and the inside is not cooked, you're SOL. So we're going to let that cook for a little bit. It's probably going to take a good 7-ish minutes on the first side. 5 to 7 minutes you're going to cook it on the first side, because again, this has egg in it and it has raw vegetables, so you're going to have to give it enough time to cook down, or I meant cook, period. So that, yeah, you're going to make sure that it's cooked. It's going to go a little bit longer cooking time on the first side, longer on the first side than the second side, because now the heat from the first side cooking, once you turn it over, it's going to, that residual heat is going to continue cooking it towards the inner side. So that's why the second side is not going to cook as long as the first side. So we're going to leave that for, like I said, a few minutes. Again, you're going to make sure there's enough space. If you need to kind of make sure that they're not sticking, you don't want them to stick. There we go. You can even kind of turn them around from the portion that was on the inner side and move that to the outer side, rotating the little morsels as you're cooking them. But do not flip them. You have to let them finish cooking, getting that nice crispy crust. That crust is what's going to give it the beautiful taste and flavor that you want. You don't want it to be undercooked. You do not want to be flipping it back and forth. It can't cook correctly. It needs to get that caramelization. It needs to get that coating going. You follow? So, with that, cheers! And let me cover this for now, just because I am that way. It's not like it's summer, any bugs are going to be showing up, but I like to cover my food. So cover your food, especially when you're dealing with eggs. Cover it, because you never know. You might have dander or a piece of hair on you. You don't want food flying in on your stuff. Cover it. That's just me, but if you don't want to, whatever. So, these are looking very nice. You're going to be watching it. Cheers! Thank you, Bubble Tea Baby. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, I don't have to shape things. Oh, I missed that. I can't touch this at the moment. So, now, how are you going to know that it's cooked? How are you going to know that it's actually cooked on the one side? Well, how are you going to know is that the edges, again, paying attention to which one you put in first. So watch that first one. When the edges, you'll see it through the oil. Hopefully your oil is not that dirty. You'll see it if it's clean. But if you have to use a second time, your third time using your oil, don't just throw oil out just because it's readily available. Next thing you do, you're going to watch the edges. When the edges start browning a tiny bit, that's when you can go in and do a little check. You're going to check underneath. Right? You're going to check underneath. Oh, it's browning nicely. It's getting a golden brown. It's not ready yet. I don't want a golden brown. But if you see on, like I said, if the one side is getting a little golden brown faster than the other, move it around, rotate it around a little bit so that they can all get happy in a nice even coat of goldenness, niceness, beautifulness. So, that's going to go another minute or so because I have turned the temperature up. I'm going to again watch what's going on. Now, if this is starting, the temperature is going to go up a little too fast, I need to watch out for that. You're going to, when you're initially putting your product in, whether it be fish cakes, French fries, raw potatoes to make French fries, your initial oil is going to be hotter than when you're going to flip. Like these, for example, they will not be as hot as I initially started. And for that reason, that's okay, but it still is reason why the second side is going to make sure that you have let it have time to cook. Anyway, so there's the beautiful goldenness you're looking for. So again, you're not going to cook it too fast because there's raw ingredients in there. I did boil the fish, so the fish was already cooked, and I did semi-boil the potatoes. Again, you're going to make sure your potatoes are firm when you cook it because this is the second cooking process. So when you're finished cooking it, those potatoes will be well cooked. Your carrots are finely ground, so they'll be well cooked as well as your onions. Now, some people, for extra flavor, if you have the time, you are going to take your garlic and your onions and pre-caramelize, almost be frying them. Pre-cut, that will give you added depth and flavor into your food, whatever it may be. Always caramelize your onions first, y'all. Do not boil the onions. Ow, my ribs are hurting. Let's get this is wet. Oh well, it's already wet. This had chicken on it. Chicken grease. Oh, God damn it. Wipe this down. So I'm going to use a cedar wood. Some people will, the majority of you will use a napkin or a paper towel. I don't like wasting. I don't use paper towels. I don't mind that the grease is settling into this wood. This is something I bought at the dollar store for only $4. So it is semi-reusable. So I am going to use it however many times I choose to. You're going to preferably use different wood, maybe if you want to enhance the flavors. This is going to bring out some flavors in our food, and that's hence again why I'm going to be using cedar wood. So that's just an extra fancy way of making our food here. So again, you're going to check the underside first. Make sure that they're evenly cooked. Check it out, see, because they all pretty much went over at the same time. Then you're going to put them to the side slightly on an angle so that some of the grease can kind of come off of it, if you can manage that, unlike me. So you're going to try and get the majority of the grease off. You're going to do the excess, then you're going to take something, whatever, your spatula or whatever it may be, and just let it soak off into one of them for a minute or two, and let that grease soak into the wood, and it will interchange the flavors, and it'll be tasty as all heck. So we're just going to continue this process. See? Now, you want to, like I said, give the pan a moment to reheat. So now this is where, because I'm taking these portions out, I am going to turn it up very slightly. I'm going to put it to a high, very slightly under high. Oh, those actually look good. Yummy. Yes, my friends. Do try it out. Do make a video. Do hit me back and tell me how you like that idea of, like I said, a lot of people, and even myself, when I first started making these potato cakes, I used to make mashed potatoes or use my old potatoes, but I find this is much nicer. So the pan has gotten up higher a little bit already. Just do a light mix. That's just the way I am. You don't have to remix it, but I do. You make a little bit of a light mix. And again, you're going to take the portion always to the similar size. Using a tablespoon, not more. And then immediately turn it down, because the cold mixture of your product will lower the temperature, and that's hence only reason why you want it a little bit higher to start with, and then you're going to lower it right away so that it goes back to the 400 degrees-ish or so. Just going to flatten these out, even if they're not all the same size. You're going to make sure this is same flatness. You want them to only be there about, I think, a 1/4 inch. You don't want them too thick. You want them to be thin enough. It's not a big thick cake or cookie or bread you're making. It's kind of like a little patty. So again, you're gonna, ouch, I just hit the edge with my finger. Gonna watch out for the heat. And then you're going to as you're flattening it out a bit, make sure you're not flattening it in the middle. You want to flatten it out, and then you gradually are getting out to the side and making it rounded. You do not want to, now unlike a hamburger, when you're making a hamburger and you're frying your hamburger, you will make a depression in the middle a little bit just because, to make sure that it cooks thoroughly. But with these little cakes, you're not going to, you're going to make sure to do that to a degree as well. But in the end, you want it to be sort of flat, not any depression in the middle. So let's go sit down again, because again, my back can't handle standing up too long. Even before my injury, I can't stand. I'm getting numbness in my leg. Now, you have a stove on. When you have an oven or stove on, again, look at the bottom. You can look and see the goldenness. You're going to turn it around a bit if it looks like it's kind of getting more golden in the middle because the heat is radiant more in the middle. Turn the inside part of the little cake. It's on the outside. Turn it around so it evenly gets that nice coating or browniness, goldenness. Now, my temperature has gone down. See, between turning it down and the product being semi-cool, warm, more than the room temperature, the temperature has gone down. You'll get to know that as you learn to cook. It's gone down a little too much. I'm going to turn it up a tiny bit. Again, you're going to always try and keep your temperature to about 425 degrees. So if you have a thermostat, a little thermometer thing, you can use that. Because I've been cooking a while, I kind of know this. Now look, oh, see? This is getting a nice golden brown, but it's not golden yet. You want a dark golden before you flip it. But again, midway through, put what's in the middle, rotate it to the outer side so that you get that beautiful goldenness, flavor. And I need to sit down again. So these are the things you guys don't see. I'm not going to take long to go sit down because you never leave food unattended. But I do. Ouch. I need to relax my spine because I have a back injury and a head injury. So if I overexert myself, for me, the next day it's almost like I worked out at the gym. I am so tired. My ribs hurt. My body hurts so terribly. So that's where I have to take breaks in between. Break over. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. My ribs. Ouch. My, what do you call that? The wing, the rib of my back, the rib, this part. This thing in the back, that is hurting right now. Now, like I said, never leave hot oil and food unattended. Now, here you see it's got a nice golden color. That's good to turn. Again, you're going to want to turn them at the sequence that you put them in. But if you put them in that quick, I'm sure you'll be fine. So there we go. You're going to get that. You're going to keep it again to one side. And then in mid-cooking, you're going to rotate it around a little bit so that it can get the nice caramelization and goldenness. If it needs to be very slightly put down, that's a little bit, do that. But we've got quite a bit to go. So hopefully you're joining me and cooking along. This drink is done. I'm not having any more bubble gum at the moment, so let's put this away. Ow, my shoulder is hurting too badly. So, doctor, 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 give me the news. I got a no case of loving you. Don't drink and take pills at the same time. This is part of my medicine, pain management medicine. That's again why I don't drink too much or try not to. Let's get this going. But my back is hurting too much. I was showing that guy around about the gas leak. I had to pay attention to what he was doing. You never can tell. Some people are mean. I don't know why. But some people are mean, so you always have to watch them. So I'm going to turn these around. Because again, you're going to watch it. You don't have to turn it over to watch it. You just watch the outer side. So I'm going to turn them around a bit. Let the goldenness get happy. You can and will like to look underneath. See? Not ready. Refrigerator or freezer, the better for later you'll be. Oh, yes, you're right. This is a very small pan I'm working with. But as far as later use, these are going to be way too many. So I'm cooking 4 at a time. At this rate, there is going to be 4, 8, brain work. 12, 16, 20. There should be at least 20 of these I might be making. Again, you want to make them all a similar size. They are something you can freeze. Leave them in the freezer maybe 2 weeks. I'm not somebody who likes to freeze stuff too long. Certain things I can't freeze. Potatoes is one of them. But obviously those potatoes, certain potatoes you can freeze them, but so I would recommend that you put them in an airtight bag. When you're freezing them, freeze them as minimal time as possible, but they are freezable. When you're ready to reheat them, put them in your toaster oven. You know, don't waste putting the whole oven on, but sticking them in the microwave is not going to be as tasty. Though you can put them in the microwave, and I'm getting an American, some kind of accent going on. But when you're ready to freeze them, do so immediately after they've gotten to past room temperature. Get them cooled enough, cool, before you put them in the freezer. Don't put them in warm. Don't stick them in the freezer warm. But anyway, eat them in a fair amount, fast enough time, because they're so easily made. You can make them quick. So use them within that week. When you're going to warm them again, heat them under the hot element. Some heat, toasting them again. Bringing that toastiness back. So let's take a peek. Oh, nice. Not quite the darkness and goldenness that I want. Again, I will turn the heat up a tiny bit. This one's a little bit more. That one's almost done. So again, you're gonna watch and that's where if you have a gauged, a deep fryer or something that's properly gauged, it'll keep that. Hi, welcome. When you have a proper deep fryer, it'll keep that temperature for you. But when you're working on the stove again, and you're changing the heat of the oil because of adding the product, you do sometimes have to fluctuate your temperature a bit. If you know, and when you're learning how to cook, as you learn how to cook, you will learn the temperature of your stove. You'll learn it, just like your vehicle. You can't just jump into somebody else's vehicle, large or small, whether you're a trained and very, well-versed driver. You can't jump into somebody else's vehicle and think you know how to drive it. Even if you're an experienced driver, there's little clicks, there's little goo-goos that have to be pay attention. It's same with your stove, same with your climate, same with your temperature, same with the time of year. So this is ready. I'm just gonna flip it over just for a second, just to let again that residual heat that's from the outer side. So I turned it up. It seems that it heated up quite quickly, so I'm going to turn it down a very, very tiny bit, just to let that cook a tiny bit more on that side and get that residual heat that I just transferred to continue cooking down into the middle. So that's what you're going to do. Now, somebody was saying earlier about the time it's taking me, I'm going to be here all night. You're right, I'm freaking done. I'm getting tired of this. This is something you're going to want to put in a container. Let's get a container for it. One last batch. That's it, I'm done. I'm done. And we're going to have to cook that immediately within, I'm saying 6 hours. I would not leave this in the fridge longer myself. Like 4 hours, 2 hours, but I personally will gonna have to cook it immediately in the morning. I'm gonna have to cook it tomorrow. So let's get these ones out of here. You're gonna put them a little bit to the side. Allow them to rest on the edge of your pan to get some of that oil out. So it can drain a little bit if you don't have if you don't want to have it soaking or draining the oil onto paper towels. If you're not somebody who wants to put it on the paper towel, let it rest a little bit to the side. That allows some of the oil to come out. Then just try and place it, such as myself. I'm going to put it on. Hold on a minute. Working on the stove here. You're going to put it on. I'm using cedar wood myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on the cedar wood. Any excess oil will soak into the wood and transfer, exchange with the nice cedar taste and smell. So I'm going to put this oil up just a tiny bit more. Ouch! My back. These are thawing. We're going to have those on the side. If I don't make too big a mess. Focus. Now, at this stage, where am I? At this stage, you may have a little bit of residual little pieces of overcooked. Just take them out. You don't want those to stay in there because when you put your good stuff in, you don't want the burned stuff to stick to the nice, new, clean, beautiful goldenness that you're going to acquire from your next batch. So again, pull any of the little pieces out. If you have to absolutely need to add, again, I haven't used my mixture in a little bit, so I personally am gonna give it just a tiny bit of a mix. And then we're gonna start again with 1 tablespoonful at a time. And we're going to try and make them equal portions. The minute that you have put that in, you're going to put your temperature back down, not to have it too high. And again, you're going to put them so that they are not all over the place. You're going to try and place them. Now I did turn that down. Again, watch your temperature. You don't want it too high, because if you burn the outer part of it, that it just won't have time to cook the inner side, and it kind of will be a little bit of a muck. So there again, at the beginning, take your time to make sure that even though the portions may not be exactly alike, you want to make sure that the thickness is. You want to make sure that the thickness is, because you want to make sure that you're going to have it cooked thoroughly. Again, when you're cooking a potato, make sure that it's flat, but when you're cooking meat, you want to make a slight depression in the middle so that the inside has enough time to cook as well. Because otherwise it'll cook from the outside going in, and the inside may not have enough time to finish cooking. So I did put a tiny bit of this oil in here. I'm going to finish. You know what? I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet and just tough it through. There's not enough to put away, but there is enough to make one last pan. I'm going to make the one last batch, because if you don't have to refrigerate this, you do not want to. There you go. Washing your hands in between, always making sure that if you can do a little bit of light cleaning in between your cooking, it makes for less cleanup later. And when you're definitely dealing with meat or eggs, which I have, you are going to use a tiny bit. Make sure you're using soap so that you don't spread salmonella. And you're going to make sure that you use very hot water for your rinsing. When you're using your cutting boards, because you don't want any germs and any problems to happen with your stomach, such as I have. So I'm going to put this bowl back. Okay, so the temperature again, the temperature is going to fluctuate a bit as you're cooking. So you're going to watch the inner side. If the inner side is cooked enough, you're going to move it around, rotating it to the outer side. What are you cooking? Well, as the heading says, I am cooking fish cakes. So again, rotate what was cooking from the inside to the outside when you're using a pan like I am. Keeping an eye on things. Also, when you're wiping up, having a tiny bit of soap on your cloth makes it a tiny bit easier for the final clean, so that when you do the final wipe later after you're done cleaning, there'll be a tiny bit of residual soap that has soaked into any remnants that's sitting on your counter, making it all the more easier to clean up. So that's what happened there. I should not have started with some sake wine. The sake wine is wearing off. Again, cleaning, but also watching your pan. My pan is off the center, so that means that my product is not evenly cooking. So I'm going to turn the pan around a bit and see how these are doing. Oh, they're nicely golden, so I'm going to flip them. I'm sorry that I cannot talk. I meant pay attention to the text and read what you're saying, because I'm trying to teach you. So there you go, that nice golden color. Want to have that nice golden color. You know what? That sake wine's not working for me. So, let's change it over to a beer, because weirdly enough, when I'm drinking, I sometimes, if I stop drinking in the middle of drinking and then try to start drinking, it gives me a headache. Or if I slow down drinking. So we still got one last batch to go. Good things take time. What is she doing now? I need to find that bottle opener. This one does not work. This is too... I don't want to mess with this. Again, do not leave your oil or things when you're cooking. Don't leave it unattended, but I will be only 2 minutes, so let's go to the next room. I found out this works. Oh. Why am I not good at opening these bottles now since my concussion? There's a lot of things I can't do now. Oh, there it goes. I have to concentrate. So hard when I do stuff now. Okay, let's not leave that oil unattended. I just came out here to get that bottle opener. Oh, they're not ready yet. The back, no. So you're going to check each individual one. And when it's just as golden, I'm going to rotate these around as well. You're going to make sure that they're getting an even goldenness. And do not use your fingers like me. Don't be a spaz. I just can handle the heat. So, that I can turn up just a tiny bit. We're going to get these going. These have some kind of artificial sauce that I bought. They're from PEI. So we'll accompany it with some PEI mushrooms. Some PEI little baby mussels. Since the theme is going with some I was going to kind of call it Mediterranean. Somebody else was suggesting that it's Korean or some other Asian meal. I'm open. I'm open. I'm good if you are. So we're going to do that. Again, watch your temperature if you've turned it up. Oh, these are getting nice and golden brown. So as I do, I'll put them to the side a little bit and let some of that oil get off of there. So you're going to make it a light golden brown, because then that way later on when you warm it, you can make it a little bit of a different darker golden brown, because you have to put it in the oven to warm it. You cannot put these, or well, you can, but they just won't be crisp if you put it in the microwave. So I'm just going to take these little pieces that are nicely golden brown. You can keep these, stick them on a salad. If you were to be serving a salad with this, you could put it on the salad. So again, you're going to try and get the most of the oil off that you can. I'm using a cedar block, a cedar wood piece of wood that I'm going to let the oil dissipate on. You can put yours on paper towel. Again, don't use your hands like I'm doing. I'm just used to the heat enough. If it gets too hot, wipe your hand on a towel or something. Now, let's keep going. So, this wood away from the burner. I've turned the element up just a tiny bit, and I did mix this already. So let's go for round 4. Again, making them as much the same size as possible. Getting to the end, try and portion them so that they can all sit in the same bath. Just like so. Good to the last drop. Again, even if your portions are not exactly the same size, you do want to make sure that the portion is the same thickness so that it has time to cook in the middle. Don't stick your finger. Again, at the beginning, and at the beginning only, you can flatten it. Go ahead and flatten it out and get it to the thickness you need, because you are going to have to help it flatten out a bit. Keep doing that, remembering which one you put in first, so that the likelihood is that you might have to turn that one first. You're not making a depression in the middle, you're making it evenly flat all over. Turn this around so that I can make it even on both sides. You're gonna have to work fairly quick. Don't go too slow. And again, clean up your dishes as you go. Medium hot water, a little bit of soap. I'm over here. Let me turn this a little bit. You can see me. Don't judge me. Don't judge my dirty kitchen. It's so cold in here the last couple of days. I cannot function in cold or when I'm cold. So I didn't get much done the last day or two. But because of my news of Mr. Gasman coming today, I found out I may have to move. He didn't say that, I'm saying that. Because there's no way that this gas thing is going to get fixed. That's not going to happen. I meant, there seems to be a problem with the water, the plumbing. Something to do with the gas pipes. Something like that. Whatever it is, the maintenance call alone is going to be over up to $300. That will suffice. As long as we make sure there's no more gas leak, I can't risk any other problems, because some mechanics are like that. And I'm not saying gas guys are mechanics, but they're like doctors. They're all the same as lawyers, in my opinion. If they can have you coming back or putting the bill a little higher, it's like a landscaper or gardener. I used to be in that kind of work myself. You can't trust that you're not going to have that day and want to put the price up a bit just because you know you can. Now, the temperature on here was a fair high heat. I'm going to go ahead and turn this temperature down, and because I've turned it down to pretty much off, I'm going to go back in the other room and have a break. It is now already, so I tell you people, when you don't realize how long it takes me to do my mukbangs or my videos, my regular videos, if you watch, now you can see how long it took me to do this film. It's now 10 after 9 at night here. 10 after 9 at night. It's not supper time, it's dinner. For those who don't know the difference between breakfast, lunch, supper, and dinner. It's been a long time, right? Over 2 hours from the start of this. Ha! Ay vey. And those mussels are still thawing. They called this a sauce. What do they call it? Flavored sauce. Ew, gross. So I'm gonna have to do something with that. Let's get this done first. Let me finish cooking this. Let's keep it on high enough. Should we try one of these? So, the other thing you are gonna make sure you have when you are having your fish cakes, tartar sauce. Now, this is a store-bought tartar sauce, but when you make your own tartar sauce, you're going to use shallots, capers, a tiny bit of green onion, a little bit of green onion, a tiny bit of garlic, mayonnaise, and that's it. And that is the best tartar sauce. Without the capers, it is not authentic, beautiful tartar sauce. But for today, we're going to use store-bought. Well, again, watching the goldenness. This is perfect goldenness on that side. Oh yeah, babe. Turn the temperature off. See how the bottom's doing. No, not quite. Put that back. I'll rotate them around a bit. So that the outer side gets the inner side golden. Should I do a cooking show? Could you make sure in my cooking show establishment, whatever the scene, that they put a bed, not a bed, a couch so that I can lay down occasionally? Ow, my back. Oh, I need to. Only if you know about injuries, back injuries, you know what it's like to have to get the pressure off the spine momentarily. But I do definitely enjoy cooking. It's just that since this injury, I take so long to do it now. How did you injure your back? Well, the initial injury on my back happened a long time ago already. 2020, I had a back injury. I was attacked. I was tackled down by 3 guys. Tackled down like a criminal. And do not learn. Do learn, but do not learn any kind of self-defense or martial arts. It kicks in the minute somebody bothers you. Even if you don't mean them any harm, you're just like there. You're like, aha, gotcha. And next thing you knew, the 2 other goons come and trample me down. The guy was freaking squishing my skin. My inner arm. He was hoiting me. Anyway, stay with that thought. Remind me what I was saying. I just have to go and get this food off of here. Letting the oil drip a little bit. These. All right, let's turn this light off. Those are good. The stove is off. There's no threat of fire. I can finish my cigarette and our conversation. How did you sustain a back injury? Well, what happened is I entered an establishment that I was invited to, and they didn't have time for me. Well, I decided, well, I didn't have time for them. I was like, I'm here now. Deal with it. And they were like, oh no, we ain't dealing with you. You like that. I was like, oh yeah, you're going to be like that. I am not going to put up with this. No disrespecting. Put this to priority. They didn't want to do it. Next thing you knew, the guy, without notice, tried to grab me, like face on. Like I saw him. He was like slow motion, putting his arm out. And he goes and starts grabbing my coat. It's in the winter. He starts grabbing my coat. I remember it to this day. It was in November. First winter of that year. First snowfall. He grabbed it. Farge, does that hurt to grab the inner skin? Right? Your first reaction is, so I went to take the arm. I'm taking the arm. Oops. I was pulling his arm. I was twisting his arm, inadvertently knowing, because that's what I was taught. The next thing you knew, I guess he let out a moan or a grunt, and the other 2 goons come tackle me from the side, one from the side, one from behind, onto pavement, onto a sidewalk, smacked me down, did a hog tie-ish of sorts. They did some kind of twist and pull, and it furred my spine up. Oh my gosh, yes, that happened. So they knew what they were doing. I didn't know it was coming. If I had known they were going to be that aggressive, I definitely would have left sooner. But my back has hurt ever since. I've been rear-ended, and not rear-ended that way, but that way too. It does not help your spine if you have a spinal injury. Don't get further rear-ended. No. Whether you think it sounds fun for the moment, later it's going to hoit. Cheers to my rant and my rear-ending. This tastes so good. Cheers to Guinness Stout. Yeah. And then, because I didn't realize or understand what they had done to me, I went and limped my way home because, like I said, backtracking a bit, I had a vehicle accident already prior to that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking. It is good to let it out and share. So prior to that, I guess, had some type of already existing back injury. So my back hurt already. So that after they did that, I was always in different pain at different times, that after they did that, I didn't actually fully understand the extent of the damage they had done to me. But I came across a person who did, chiropractic visits at home. So I had the luxury of my chiropractor come to my house with his bench, and he was Polish. Was it Polish? Anyway, his name was Peter Juroszczak. Peter Juroszczak. That, I think, was there about in 2001. It's a long time ago, but I do remember him because he was so good to me. He even helped me. He'd say, the best thing for you, get out in the sun. You like your gardening, go back to the gardening. No, I took it off, hon. I took the food off. I took it out. Remember, that's why I was gone. I turned it all off. Yeah, Petro, if you ever see me, please know I so appreciate you. I'm walking. I was bodybuilding last year before this injury. Look, you could still see the muscles that I was acquiring. Ow, that's my sore side. But look, I used to do bodybuilding before this accident happened. So because I've lost so much weight, it's like I'm ready for competition. They go through phases when you're doing bodybuilding or when you're doing competing. When you're doing competing, you have to bulk up and then you thin down. And this is me. This is the time that I'd be ready for the competition. Flexing the muscles, but oh, ow. That hurts my spine. Doing that now. Something happened to my shoulder. When I had this injury, I fell to the left side and I smashed the shoulder in, and it furred up the back, my shoulder blade. Ow, they got all these fancy words, thrombosis this and some other yuckity that, and take an injection of the other. No, thank you. Any injection I need ain't through a needle. Cheers to staying happy. Happy. Let's stay positive and not worry about the past. But yes, thank you for asking. I have shared my past now with you. That's why you often see me using my hands, my arms, to move myself. That's because my body, as I get tired, it hurts to get up a certain way, so I just use the arms. And now, see, this is the other thing that happened since my injury. Ow! My spine starts hurting so bad, my back, my upper back, that I become so tired and lethargic. Like, this is already going on 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours to make fish cakes. I used to make those in a half an hour. What is going on? Oh, and that's not counting the time I started prior to my videotaping. And you guys seeing that the potatoes were already cooked. I had to deal with the gas guy and stuff in between, standing, going up and down the stairs to the basement, leaning down with him to look in. He took the, thank you to him. He took the, well, actually, I pretty much saw it, but I saw that the filters were immensely dirty. So I said, oh, should those come out? He was like, oh yes, and get this kind. He Googled it for me. He says, just go ahead and get the cheaper ones, put 2 of them in and just change them more consistently. It's still cheaper in the end. I'm not going to be staying here with the report that he gave. I likely am not going to stay till spring after all. I was thinking I was going to stay here for a little bit, but if there's too many health issues, I mean, there's a leak. There's a gas leak. Who knows what's going to happen if the guy comes in, girl, comes in and decides to, well, not decides to, but possibly inadvertently, mistakenly makes an issue, further issue, then that means a whole new water heater possibly. No. Sure ain't doing that. That ain't gonna happen. So, should we try some of the food, or should I have a little break for a moment and do a second video? Are you guys getting a little tired of the length of time of this, or should I continue, or what? But I'm just showing you, this is initially partly why I started doing these videos, was to document how I was doing with the concussion and how I was progressing and how I was prior to how I was then and now. It is still a continuation of the selfishness of documenting. Try one of the fish cakes. Okay. Wait for me. Just stay here a minute, okay? Let me go get a plate and make just one. Because what I want to do, it's already like, what, 9-ish now? What time is it? I want to make the vegetables. I wanted to make, and so the setup, the platter, the whole change of what was going on then from now to the actual plating of when we start eating is different. That's why also I'm so skinny. I'm not somebody who really cooks, eats while I cook. Let's see what's going on in here. Turn some lights on. Okay, don't those look pretty? Nice and golden brown. And again, I'll use some of this. You know, adds up. Oopsie. When you buy the different ingredients, like those capers I was saying. Oh, the other thing I forgot to say, I put relish when you're making your sauce from scratch. Capers, what the heck did I say? Certain kind of onion. Let's try this. Look. Are you getting the light properly? They're not very crispy. Oh. But it's good. It's a wee tiny bit. That mushy exterior that I told you I don't like. Simply not. 9:30. Ooh. It's cooled off in here, yo. Those are perfectly spiced. Those were perfectly spiced fish cakes. They're a wee tiny bit on the garlicky side, but that's okay with me. They're a wee tiny bit on the what do you call those things? What do you call those? You know, frikadellas? The difference between a frikadella and a hamburger. The frikadella, you're putting a little egg and, oh, that's what it is, dumpling. You're verging on a potato gnocchi or dumpling, which is nice. It tastes great. It's perfect. But I like it more like a fried chip. Like, I like it a little bit less soft in the interior and more crispier on the exterior. Ooh, I get cold so easily. Oh. They are very tasty. The pepper has a very slight peppery taste on the aftertaste. Yummy. I think I better go get a couple. They're too tasty. Let's eat them while I sit and talk with you a little more. And then the good thing about this being on the board the way it is, I can microwave this, but like I said, microwave it or stick it in the oven right on the board. And again, it's cedar. It's a cedar wood. So there gets a tiny bit of remnants of the cedar taste on the food, which is very nice. Now, let me try and set this up so that I can make that look pretty without hopefully not allowing it to fall down. Is that okay? No? Hold on a minute then. Let me get my chopsticks. I like eating with my chopsticks. Now these have cooled off considerably. They still taste good. Ah. No falling. Let's read the ingredients on this. Water, soybean oil, sugar, vinegar, cucumber, modified corn starch, salt, frozen egg yolk, mustard, dried onion, Sexan gum, whatever that is, sodium benzoate, not good. Calcium chloride, spices, flavor, calcium disodium, EDTA. Ugh. Anyways, why you don't want this stuff? Capers. What do I like using? What is that onion called? It's a little onion. Anyways, onion, a little bit of garlic, capers, mayonnaise, a little bit of salt and pepper to taste, and a tiny bit of relish. I do use a little bit of relish. Here we go, finished product. Made from scratch, homemade. Make sure you watch the video from start to beginning, though it's lengthy. What am I doing here? Are you seeing this? God dang it! Cut! Come on. Shine the light on the finished product. I'm trying to get it so that you can see the inside properly. You can see a tiny bit of the flakes of the fish. Again, why you don't want to like grind up the fish. It is nicely fishy. There was a tiny bit more potato in here than I would have liked. It's so cold in here, guys. That these are already room temperature. No more talking. Let's eat. Have a sip of this. Cheers. And remember, click like and subscribe. Hit that notification for any upcoming videos of mine. Being silly, sometimes being informative, such as teaching you how to make delicious fish cakes, homemade, or sitting simply having a mukbang with you. Remember to share, because sharing is caring, and we want to get it out there that I'm the girl who likes to show her uvula. That dangly thing in the back of your throat. She's hiding right now. If that's not something of interest to you, watch the heading, because if you see a tongue in it, it's because my mouth will be open. So with that, let me end this video shortly in the next 19-ish minutes. Let me shut up and eat. Cheers! And see you in the next video. ASMR. Big bite. Girls, stop. This is live. Unfinished sentence. Welcome, welcome. Join me, join me. We're not done until the fat lady sings, and I ain't fat, so there ain't singing going on here. Mmm. Make sure to Share my videos, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, if you're spamming on my channel, you will get blocked and not get to visit anymore. No, you don't want that. Because I didn't get to know you yet. And nor did the rest of my subscribers. So be sure to be polite. And stay so I get to know you and you get to know me. Yum, take a bite. Big bite. Perfect. Click like and subscribe and hit the notification. As much as these potatoes are tasty like this, I would have liked to have a little bit of something on the side. So make sure to stay tuned tomorrow for leftovers. Oh, hold on. Bridge May, BIC, welcome, welcome. Please don't spam my channel. I have to see it at Bridge. Naughty girl, be nice. I'm gonna have to get rid of you, girl, if you're gonna be spamming my channel. Now, let me see what's going on here. What's this saying? Bridge may be icy. Unfinished sentence. I have to see it at Bridge. Rinda, how do you eat all that good food and stay so fit? I was fit prior. Thank you for... Oh, shite. My shite was almost falling over, Mike. Ooh. That would not have been a good scene. I have ulcerative colitis. So I unfortunately have a bad belly. And often, whatever I eat is out the other end really quickly. But thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you at your house shortly, within the day. I will come and visit your house and I will bring blessings to your house. Thank you for coming and staying with me and visiting with me. Another 10 more minutes, 11-ish. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Rinda, how do you... Oh yeah. I have short-term memory. I did have a head injury, so sometimes you can comment and I won't know what the heck you're talking about. But I did this time. Yes. I have this problem with my Crohn's, so depending on what I eat, I actually hurt the next day. So this deliciousness tomorrow will hurt my stomach. Because I put, what did I put? Baking soda. Oh wait, baking soda, cornstarch. I put a little bit of cornstarch and flour in the mix. The cornstarch, whether it be cornstarch, any form of corn, hurts my stomach. So certain foods hurt me. I'm not allowed to eat certain foods. But just as soon as I'm feeling better and I'm doing well and getting healthy, it's like, oh, that donut looks good. Oh, that fried food food looks delicious. Just a little bit. Oh, it won't hurt me. Ouch. As I get older, it hurts me more. Ow, the more I talk about it, it's actually turning my stomach. But I get a terrible bellyache if I eat the wrong food. And then if I get a bad bellyache, it actually seems to hurt the rest of my body. So then my arthritis starts acting up, fibromyalgia starts acting up. So again, when I'm doing well, I'm moving around more, especially if I've had drinks. Cheers! Cheers to enough complaining. Enough of the complaining. Happy, let's move on to happy times. So again, when you're cooking your fried food, as you're cooking it in concessions, you obviously can't change the oil, but the oil is going to start getting a tiny bit dirty as you're cooking. Make sure as you're cooking, you're scooping out the tiny pieces of crisp that might have broken off. Take those little pieces off, discard them, either put them on the side, make a tiny pile of them if you're going to have a salad or whatever. Put those little crisps as garnish on top of your salad that's going along with your cakes. It just makes it a little that more decadent. So yeah, you don't want to throw them away if you don't have to, especially if they're just beautifully golden brown. But those little morsels that are cooking or that have already crisped up, prior to putting your next batch in, you want to remove anything residual in your oil. Take that out. Just strain it off a bit and then continue your frying. But with that, guys, I am getting a little bit tired. My neck is definitely done. Ow. Ugh. I have a terrible, my spine goes like this. See, this is the spine. This is the back of me. This is my front. This is my spine. My spine goes crooked. And then at the top, it goes like totally crooked. At the neck here, it's so crooked. So after a while, I start getting tired. I can't move. I start getting grumpy, cranky, this or the other. And now I have to go in the kitchen and straighten up, clean up enough so that it's bearable to go to sleep. Because I don't like a mess when I wake up in the morning. But I very, very, very much appreciate everyone that's come by, listened to me through the different stories, knowing that, yes, now I have to move yet again. It's not even been a year that I've been here. I hate moving. You know, you call the different places and they give different information. So that I called the one place. He was like, oh no, don't worry about having to relight the pilot light on your water heater. It's just a pain in your ass having to go back and forth downstairs. Another person I speak to, he's to do with gas, or he was to do with furnace, I meant. He's like, oh, that's dangerous. Be careful. Please don't touch that until we get there. Huh? I was like suddenly panicked. Then the other guy gets here. He finally arrived. He's like, well, we don't do that. We don't touch gas. We don't deal with that. As he's unscrewing the... I'm like, well, if you don't do that. He said, oh, don't worry. You'll just have to call another guy in. I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, could you take another reading before you go from the reading prior to untightening it, now that you've put it back? He did the reading, it went up. It had gone up after he had touched it and finagled with it. So that's why I'm going to have to move. I can't deal with that kind of stuff. I've dealt with that when I used to drive. Ugh. I had this one vehicle prior to the injury, that injury I said that hurt my back. I had a nice vehicle. The hell was that thing called? Fully loaded, nice leather interior, Nice little luxury car. It was a nice car. What the heck car was that? Anyhow, next thing you knew, I had this back injury. The vehicle sat over winter. I immediately, through the spring, I asked, what is the charge? What would it be to get this vehicle back? Oh, the gasket's dried and this and the other problem. And oh, there's, you know, you left gasoline over the winter. Oh, now that's going to be a problem. Oh, yes, I did. I left enough time between the sake and the beer to, it was an okay transition. But that vehicle was a good vehicle. And so what happened is that, so then he's like, oh, that'll cost $700 to get that vehicle back on the road. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, give me a month. Give me a little bit of time. Let me get my my budget in order. So I figure out what to do. Okay, all right. So I get the $700 rounded up. You know, next thing you knew, I call him back. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. He's like, oh no, it's gonna be $1,400 now because you waited so long. No, I don't deal with those type of people very well, and I've now, let me close this, gotten shy. Once burnt, twice shy. I've gotten shy now. I don't trust people. I got hurt within the last 3-4 years, or was it 3 years now? It's going on. I got hurt by a male, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. So I do not like certain things now. I'm afraid of certain things. So that, yeah. Let's not get in a bad mood. Change it. Nap, tap, tip, 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 tip. Yeah. So with that, we are veering on 2-minute mark between the end of this video. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I know, shite happens. People are worse off in other places than I am. I'm good. You follow? Life continues. You just go on. You move on. Fix it if you can and move on. If it can't be fixed, move on. Do not dwell. Do not stay. Present always has to go on to the future. Because as you discovered on the train, tomorrow never happens. It becomes today. But today cannot be dwelling on yesterday. So remember that, y'all. Remember, I do sometimes suffer from depression or sadness of things that's happened. Be sad. Get your sadness. Let the sadness go. Get it out, whatever. But don't dwell. Don't stay in your sadness. Change your mood. Cook, clean, eat. Do something to change your mood. But try not to stay in a bad mood, please. So, blessings to everyone. Stay happy. God has got your back. High Spirit, Almighty, whoever you believe in, whatever religion you are in, whether you don't believe or don't believe, remember, positivity brings more positivity back. So even if you have problems with people who are negative, and they're bringing you down, the best recourse for that is be positive. Smile, nod, happy, nod and smile. Thank you. Have a great day. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry, but whatever. Have a good day. Just try and be happy with people, even if they wrong you. Don't hold that on your shoulder. Let it go. Let it be known they might have been having a bad day. Maybe they don't know any better. Don't be mad at them. Don't stay angry at people. Don't stay angry at yourself. With that, I will see you in the next video. Where's my light? Ow! Ow! That light is hot.
See you soon, guys.